Good evening. This is NXHA, Net Control for the informal weekly net of Canton Amateur Radio Club. We'll begin with a list of check-ins. All I need is a call sign. I'll check you off. I'll go through the list after the call sign, asking if anyone has traffic for the net. So go ahead, first call sign, please.
K8ISS. W8JKC.
W8JKC, you're in the log. Next.
Alpha 8UN.
Fox 8 at UN. Byron, good evening. You're in the log.
Net Control, here is K8AGB, Kilo 8, Alpha Golf Bravo.
Good evening, Dennis. Go ahead, next.
Kilo Echo 8, Kilo Zulu Juliet, Joan Alliance.
Got you in the log, Joe. Next.
Kilo Alpha 8, Mike November Tango. Tom in Canton here.
Hello, Tom. You're a very reliable net check-in. Next.
Hello, Charlie 8, Zulu Whiskey Papa, Doc in Canton.
You're in the log, Doc. Next.
AB8PRK, Ted in Springfield Township.
Hey, Ted. Week number 2 for you. Go ahead, next.
Whiskey 8, Victor Echo, Roger.
Thanks, Roger. Next check-in, please.
N8PW.
Mr. Bill, good evening to you, sir. Next.
KG8, RRY. Hello, Dale.
Oh, Jerry. Okay. Sorry, I misheard you there. Good evening, Jerry. How you doing?
Doing real good. Hope everybody's well this evening.
Okay, next check-in.
8, Victor XJ, Quebec.
VXQ, Perry. Hello, Perry. Any more check-ins?
W8NDC.
Trying to find you on the list. Hello, Alice. Any other check-ins, please?
Whiskey Alpha 8, November Delta Bravo, Harold.
Okay, Harold. Good evening to you, sir. Next check-in. Hearing nothing, I'll go down in alphabetical order by call sign, and if you have short traffic for the net, go ahead and say it at that time. First is Kilo 8, Alpha Golf Bravo. Denny, any traffic?
Net Control, K8AGB. I did have some, but I may share it with Harold and Alice. They're both on the circuit tonight, loud and clear, so let's see what if they want me to give the good word or if they want to share. This is K8AGB.
Okay, maybe we'll just get down to them, and if they don't say what it is, we'll come back to you. Is that okay?
I'll be sitting by here. This is K8AGB.
All right, thank you very much. I'm guilty of this, but I'll remind everybody, after you key up, give it a second or so for the repeater to decide whether you are digital or analog. During that 1 second, the repeater is making up its mind, and your transmission will not get through. Next station I have is Kilo Alpha 8, Mike November Tango. Tom, go ahead.
Well, good evening, Dale, and everybody else on the net. Just real quick, it's supposed to have rained about most of the day and hasn't done it. And as far as ham radio goes, I've been sticking close to the shack here recently, trying to get a few contacts in, and been somewhat successful. Just hope everything's are going, and I'm looking forward to hearing the plans for the Hall of Fame and the 100-year celebration. So we'll see what happens there. This is KA8MNT, back to the net.
Thank you for that, Tom. We come now to Ted, Kilo Bravo 8, Papa Romeo Kilo. Go ahead.
Good evening there, Dell, and everybody else. I haven't been doing too much up here. Spent a lot of time on the UHF repeater up here, talking to some friends, and I want to tell Dennis that somebody from his past wanted to pass, if I made contact with him, to say hi. His name's Dick, K8AMX. I'm sure he knows him, and I just wanted to pass that along there. But not much going on. Yeah, I guess all that rain was south of I-70 down there, the trail of thunderstorms down there. But we're expected to get some thunder boomers up here tomorrow. They're calling for about a 60% chance, so we'll see how that goes. We don't really need the rain, but it just makes the grass grow faster. Back to you there, Dell. Keep me PRK.
Thank you much, Ted. Next call sign is Kilo Charlie 8 Zulu Whiskey Papa. Doc, would you have any traffic for the net this evening?
Good evening, Dale. Good evening to everyone on the net. No, I have no traffic this evening. Just wanted to say hi to my old Elmer. I heard him on there in 8PW, Bill. And other than that, we'll send her back to net control. KC8 ZWP.
Alrighty, thank you, Doc. Next on the list is Kilo Echo number 8, Kilo Zulu Juliet. Joe in Alliance. Any traffic, sir?
Yeah, good evening, Dale, and everybody on the net. Not anything real exciting. Well, it is for someone. I guess next week on the 10th, we're going to be doing that drawing for the fundraiser we had over here at W8ALKY.org. for the Yaesu 450D. So anybody that might have participated in that might be interested in keeping an ear open there. We're going to be posting it on the Facebook, as our Facebook page, as well as on the W8ALKY.org site. I believe a video of it. KZJ, back to that.
Thank you for the update, Joe. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Kilowatt Fox number 8, Uniform November. Byron, any traffic for the net?
No traffic tonight, thanks, KFHUM.
And Byron, your radio is working just fine. Good and clear, thank you. Kilo Golf number 8, Romeo Yankee. Jerry, anything for the net tonight?
Well, I will be also whatever. I will be waiting with big ears for news regarding the Hall of Fame, of course. It has been a good week so far. It's been a hot one today, but I had installed that vertical antenna that I was telling you about, and I put the radials, buried the radials in the ground, and what made this such a great beginning to the week is I ran the mower over the plot, or otherwise known as the backyard, where the radials are, and all of my radials survived. They stayed down in the ground where they belonged. I have met a couple guys here on 10 meters, and I have enjoyed talking to them every evening. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to make a vertical dipole to talk regionally here to see if, like in the Canton, Akron, Alliance, Worcester area, those areas around Cuyahoga Falls, looking for something that will operate a little closer to home here on 10 meters. And I'm thinking maybe the dipole is the best chance If anybody else has a good alternative antenna-wise, I'm not afraid to spend money. And by all means, tell me what has worked for you. With that, I'll be on the side and I'll be listening attentively. This is Kilo, Golf 8, Romeo, Romeo, Yankee.
Very well, Jerry. We've got quite a few antenna gurus here tonight, and I'm sure someone may have some words to say about 10 meters and local contacts. Brings us up to Bill, November 8 Papa Whiskey. How about you, sir?
Good evening, all in the net. This is Bill in 8PW. I've got 3 quick comments. Number 1, I want to apologize about last week. I announced that the contest, you could work sideband or digital. My mistake, I confused the WPXCW contest with the IARU contest, in which you can work any mode, talk to anybody for a contest contact. Secondly, hello, Doc. We ought to get together and kibitz about QRP radio. And third, in the way of a 10-meter antenna for near vertical incident skywave or nearby, if you use a dipole antenna that's vertical, make sure your feed line goes off at a 90-degree angle. The other option you can use is to use an inverted V. Those dipoles are not long. And you can also use an Armstrong rotator on a duplex hamstick, a dipole hamstick as well. But anyway, this is N8PW, back to Nate.
Alrighty, thank you, sir. Perry, November 8, Victor X-Ray, Quebec. Anything for the net tonight, Perry?
Good evening, Dale, N8BHQ here. Wanted to make a comment about your audio. It sounds good. You're right up to par with the signal and everything. What you did is working. And yeah, I was gonna say I went out and got some food tonight, and boy, I was surprised there. One of the places I was gonna go down there was close to Country Fair Shopping Center. I think that's what they still call it. And when I called, they said they was closed. They had some protesters down there. So what was down in the square of Canton is moving westward. So I don't like that because that's coming towards the township. But I did find another place to eat, and so we're well fed. In fact, a little bit overfed. So with that, I'll say 73s, everybody, and just listen out here in 8VXQ.
All right, thank you for the report, Perry. Might have a word or two to say about the events that have been going on recently when we get around. Brings us down to Justin, Whiskey 8, Juliet Kilo Charlie. Justin, any traffic?
Nothing tonight, Dale. Next time you get down to Gooding, let me know and I'll meet you down with the pickup truck for the stuff. WJKC.
Will do. Appreciate your help as always, moving stuff around. Takes us up to Roger, Whiskey 8, Victor Echo. Any traffic tonight, Roger?
Well, let's see. Bill was mentioning the WPX, and I finally got a modified G5 RV up about a month ago, and the WPX this weekend was on CW, and it was not too good, except it seems like 20 meters opened up in the afternoon. I think, so a little bit of DX came in. I actually worked a little DX, and just turned the log in today. I think I worked about 145 Qs, about 20 an hour. I was just searching and bouncing. Yes, and I as far as the 10 meters go, I don't know. We always had pretty good luck with a dipole when I was down in the 10-meter net down in Tuscarawas County. What's nice about 10 meters, you don't have to have it too high either. 15, 20 feet off the ground is pretty good. So I'm not sure about a vertical dipole. That would be what, 16 feet? I guess, yeah, you could put that up. But, that's the story here. But just a dipole, and I hope that the gentleman's familiar with NBIS. That might help a little bit. So back to you, Dale. This is Roger, W8AL.
Okay, Roger, thanks for the background. This is Net Control, November X-Ray A Juliet. Takes us up to Alice and Harold. We'll go Alice first, Whiskey Alpha 8, November Delta Charlie. Alice, anything to say tonight?
This is Whiskey Alpha 8, November Delta Charlie. I'll pass the talk stick back to Denny when he's ready.
Very well. How about the young man sitting right next to you? I'm assuming Whiskey Alpha 8, November Delta Bravo. Harold, do you have anything for the group tonight?
This is W8NDB. I heard Perry mention about the demonstration in Canton. It just so happened that Alice was in therapy, and I was sitting in a car and more or less had a personal guard there. And there had to have been 100, 150 people, if not more, gathered right in front of the Altman Therapy Building for, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes. And then they moved on from there. That was the second bunch for the day. There was one started on the west side and moved towards the square, and then there was one from the square to the west side. So it was quite a mess.
It can be a little bit disruptive at times. That is something I'll speak to in a bit, but if there's nothing else, Harold, I'll take it back to Denny, who has some news pertaining to Alice and Harold, I'm assuming. So Denny, go right ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, this is K8AGB. I think okay, the following is a QST. That's a broadcast to everybody. Recently, I was at Mench's Brothers on West Tuscarora Street for a takeout order and see that they're practicing spacing and cleanliness the way they're supposed to. And then the other day, Alice called me and gave me an up-to-date report. And she had seen our favorite server, Nancy, at Mench's Brothers. And Nancy would be delighted to see us on the second Saturday of the month. But the restaurant has to comply with the governor's rules and regulations. And that is, she's the table for 8 people. And then there has to be spacing, and then there could be another table for 8 people. So in my case, if there's somebody I want to sit with or somebody I don't want to sit with, I'm going to have my choice of which table I want to sit at there on the second Saturday of each month. So Nancy is looking forward to seeing our smiling faces. NX8J, K8AGB.
Very well, Dennis. Thanks for the update there. I have gone in a restaurant or two since in the last week, and it's a little far apart from the next table. It's never been a problem, so very few things are different. So overall, the experience has been positive. Okay, we were Jerry was talking about 10-meter dipoles. Vertical makes it sound like he wants to go omnidirectional. I heard someone say got to be off the ground, 15 feet or so. I would concur in that. A vertical dipole that is touching the earth is not going to be very efficient. And I guess with 10 meters, you want to be up sort of high. We're not talking low band ground wave here. So higher the better there. Jerry did ask in another communication whether you should use a piece of PVC or just wire. Well, 16-foot piece of PVC, just my personal experience, it's going to be floppy. It's not as stiff as a flagpole. Go ahead and use it, but you may end up having to guide the thing to keep it from tipping over. A lot of vertical dipoles are just that. You start with a wire dipole and you hang one end in a tree or something and get the tail end off the ground as far as you can. Bring your feed line out at a 90-degree angle, and that's pretty much it, except for the tune-up. Any other comments for the group on 10-meter dipoles or any kind of a good 10-meter antenna that Jerry might be interested in that would help him achieve his goals? Go ahead.
PRK.
You got it, Ted. Go.
I put up a 6-meter vertical dipole many years ago up in a tree out here, and I put the insulators at the end of the dipole, and I put the Dacron UV-proof line, and I got that strung up in a tree branch, and I put about a 3-ounce fishing weight at the bottom of the other end of the dipole beyond the insulator to kind of keep it taut. And I ran the coax, 90 degrees off of it for about a quarter wavelength, and then whatever route I needed to get it into place here. And it's been up there for probably 5-6 years, and I got no problem working all the repeaters in the area and a lot of simplex contacts further out. I've worked as far up with that all the way up to Cuyahoga County with it, and it works, and it's cheap. That was one of my criteria, cheap. But I just soldered the legs onto the coax center conductor and the braid, and I took some of that liquid electrical tape and doped it all up, and it's been serving well.
Okay, Ted, so you're happy with it. Now tell me, how much power do you put in? What mode do you typically operate? And what would be your customary range, I guess, during the day? Over.
Well, I got it trimmed for 52.5, and it's hooked up to the Alinco. That's just an FM mode 6-meter mobile here, and I can go up to 50 watts on it, but normally I run anywhere from 5 to 25 watts, and it works.
Very good. Does anyone have any other experience with 6-meter or 10-meter, especially 10-meter antennas that they would like to share with Jerry?
Dale Dennis here. I have a question for Jerry. When we after we discuss antennas, I've got a question for Jerry. Over.
Okay, very well. After one more chance, any more antenna discussion before we give it to Dennis? All right, Dennis, go right ahead.
Jerry, Dennis here, K8AGB. You've got both of my ears perked up here, talking about the 10-meter band, and what frequency or frequencies and what mode are you planning to monitor and cover Stark County on? Over.
Well, first of all, thank you everybody for the words regarding the regarding the dipole, the vertical dipole. The situation is when I get out to about Firestone Park in Akron, the vertical, which is down on the ground, the takeoff angle at that point is really, you're moving out into DX land and you're getting away from regional. And my basic purpose with the dipole is just to speak regionally here to the people in Akron and the friends that I've made so far on 10 meters. There's a group of people on 10 meters. There's several different bands. They're all about 28.5 that I've been on. And so I'm actually going to cut the dipole to begin with to 28.5. And I know that you have to adjust from there. Nothing ever gets cut exactly right. We all have been down that road. But yeah, Dennis, it's a brand new thing to me. And right after I put the vertical in, I spoke to England. I spoke to Florida twice. I spoke way north in Canada to a place we actually go fishing. It's as far north in Canada as you can go without leaving Canada, and all around. But it was the local contacts that I was having trouble with. Over.
Okay, Jerry. So I'm going to say that in that portion of the band, you're on sideband. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's right. On sideband. I don't hear anybody talking on AM. I can pick up WHBC AM on my Elenco. I don't know too many of the hams that I'm talking to though that are using anything but sideband right now. Although I have spent just a little bit of time this past week on 29 megahertz and using FM, and that's enjoyable to me. Thank you again. I'm out.
Okay, Jerry, you've triggered another question. We're thinking about the same wavelength. The FM portion, 29.00 on up to .7. Do you find any local frequency that's being monitored in Stark County and in the FM band?
I personally don't find any that are being continuously monitored, but what I do is I just kind of take a tour through there every so often, and I'm not afraid to introduce myself to people. I'm the one guy that when I get into an elevator, we're all friends by the time we reach floor 1, so I'm not bashful about introducing myself.
Okay, Jerry, I'll listen for your call on the 10-meter band. Thank you very much. This is K8AGB.
Thank you, Dennis, and back to Nat.
All right, good discussion, gentlemen. I heard some hams mention that they would like to be brought up to speed on HOF enshrinement activities. We'll get to that in just a second. We also heard a comment or two about conditions in the city with respect to protesters. There's a lot of rumors flying about. Here where I work, we have received some calls, people asking all sorts of crazy things, like I heard this is going to happen then, and so on and so forth. I'm going to read a statement from an elected official here in the city. Part of the statement is pretty lengthy. Okay, back again. Here's the first couple of lines. Contrary to whatever you are reading on Facebook or otherwise, Canton City government or the city itself is not shutting down today, nor will it be shut down today or any other day as a result of any planned protests. Please conduct business as usual, as normal, and please encourage others to do the same. It goes on about some statistics, and then down at the end, the last couple of lines are, while Canton's protests are at times unruly, in parentheses, protests and civil disobedience by their nature are unruly, involving marching on public right-of-way, laying down in intersections, shouting slogans, even vulgarity, close parenthesis. They have also been at the same peaceful and without violence. This is an inconvenience at times that comes with being an American. That's the gist of the statement from an official in Canton to try and address some of the rumors and such that are flying around. Personal experience there have been some traffic disruptions late at night, especially in the downtown area, as groups of people were walking, crossing an intersection. You might have to wait a couple of lights to get your car through. Nothing, totally objectionable. It's just, as the statement said, that is the inconvenience that at times comes with being an American. Any other comments on that? And then we'll move along to football stuff. Okay, nothing heard. Bill and I were supposed to get together and work out a strategy to approach the powers that be to see about a location, an operating location for the event in September, the 100th thing. Before that, we have the normal HOF enshrinement activities in August, late July, early August. All I've got with me is some notes from last week that said Bill, I think he was up to 5 sign-ups, and it wasn't clear if there was going to be a schedule or how that was going to be worked out, at least not clear that I heard. I'm going to pass it over to Bill and see if he has any updates about the first thing coming up, which would be the special event station in September and early August. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, Dale, this is N8PW, and we do have a list of operators who wish to sign up, and our schedule had been something around 8 o'clock Saturday morning on the day of the parade, and we would extend that for the night before and the Sunday after as we had operators. The real discussion that you and I had was concerning the 100th anniversary of the NFL, which was going to be celebrated in September, and we asked for possible use of a portable site downtown or in some other location at the Hall of Fame, whatever. And I thought we would rely upon your contacts with influential people to maybe consider that or get permission for that. This is N8PW, back to net.
Very well, Bill. Yes, you are correct. You and I were to get together. This last week turned into being a little bit busier than I anticipated. Haven't been able to get away. Starting Saturday, some things took place downtown, and we've been trying to give it as much social media coverage as possible and keep up to date on the goings on. So you and I do need to get together, and I'm just trying to figure out who we go to when to work out our permission to do what we'd like to do. So I'm sure with our two minds, your mind and my half of a mind, we should be able to come up with a strategy. Are there any other questions or comments about the activities coming up on us in July and August, I'm sorry.
Yes, this is Roger, W8AL. Bill, how many sign-ups do we have for the August, the regular Hall of Fame parade?
Well, Roger, for the August Saturday, August 8th, we have 7 operators signed up. And the issue for us is to get the plans down now so that we can publicize the event. That's the real issue right now. And we have several months to embellish our operator list. This is N8PW.
Thank you, Bill. And I do have some comments on field day when we get done with the Hall of Fame events. Back to you, Dale.
Okay, Roger, thank you. You said field day or HOF events or both? I'll just turn it over to you. Go ahead and say what you got to say, sir. NXHA.
Well, I guess my comments are, field day is coming up very quickly, and one of the things that my wife and I were talking about is assuming that we've done in the past. Jerry, last year, Jerry Shrigley was good enough to bring a tent, and John is KISS as usual has everything well prepared as far as rig and everything. We put the antenna up. My concern is the social distancing. That my wife said, if you're going to be in an enclosed tent, we have to make sure that anybody that comes in the tent has a mask on. That's just not to only protect John and I, the operators. That should protect people coming in the tent. That being said, I was talking to John Demuth. I can't remember his call. John, he's very active in the Tusco Radio Club, and they're going to have they're going to put those underneath the shelter at the Dover Fairgrounds, which gives them plenty of distance or protection from the weather, and it's big enough where they can space everything out. And so it got me to thinking that maybe we'd want to use the pavilion down at Frank's, the Dearman Farm, for an operating station. That way we wouldn't have to, with the social distancing, we wouldn't have to worry as much about masks. Of course, it would be awful close to the other one. We'd have to move some other things around. So just a thought for the as far as field day. So back to you, Dale. This is W8AL.
Thanks for the input, Roger. We were putting down all of our thoughts and concerns and questions. I think I circulated that. An email went out to anyone who is on the club roster, should have got it. It just basically puts down what we know and what we don't know and what we need to find out. We're taking any input at this point as we formulate our plan. One thing I did not put on the list, which is very big, and I should have thought of that right away, is we have an insurance policy that covers the club's liability for accidents, et cetera, at field day and other locations. My question, and I need to look at the fine print or probably call them and ask, is if we do something during this pandemic, is that insurance null and void, or are we still covered? I mean, that's going to really set whether we it's going to answer some big questions once we hear their answer. So, Roger, I think I sent you an email earlier. Give me that contact info, and I'll follow up with that company ASAP.
Yeah, Dale, I just got your info here about 6 o'clock, and I'll get you that information. We have ARRL insurance, and I would think that maybe even the ARRL. A lot of clubs, hundreds of clubs, are probably using the ARRL insurance, and but I think it's a good idea to find out what kind of liabilities there is. You know, of course, you can sue anybody about anything if you wish. I would think that the insurance still covers everything, stepping in a hole, breaking your liability against the Dearman group, or the Simons, excuse me. I'm active in the homeowners association here in Shrine Village, and we're supposed to have a neighborhood garage sale. So we called the legal up about what our responsibilities do we have. So it is becoming a bucket of worms. The lawyer said that, the chances of being sued are minimal, but if somebody said they contracted a virus from the local garage sale, I'm on the board. I'm actually the board president, and I wanted to make sure there wasn't any liability against the board. Back to you, Dale. I know it's a bucket of worms. It's a good question, and I'll get that information to you. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Echo.
All right. Thank you, Roger. Do we have any other commentary about Field Day, HOF? Anything going on downtown? The net is open to any and all discussion. So I'll stand back. Go ahead. Anyone with anything to say? Go ahead and key up.
Back again.
Okay, we doubled. I heard John, late check-in, and then Roger. So, John, why don't you go ahead first?
Okay. Really not a late check-in. I was thinking I was the first one to check in, but somebody must have checked in at the same time. You didn't hear me. Anyway, Field Day Station is all ready to go. I've got it set up here in my shack, and the computer's got the new program on it for 2020, and everything's working. So I'm going to tear it down and pack it up, get it ready to move out to the field. And as far as COVID-19, I really don't feel like wearing a mask for 24 hours in that tent. So I probably won't be, like it or not. But if you can go in a restaurant and sit there at the same table with somebody else, I can sit at a table with another operator as far as that goes, and still maintain distance. We have like a 6-foot table anyway. One could sit at each end. And usually don't have a lot of people coming in the tent anyway, so we could just put it off limits unless you knock at the door or something and we make arrangements. That's my opinion, and that's all I've got here, Dale. Back to you, NX8J, K8ISS.
Thank you, John. Yeah, that's reasonable and sensible words. You are correct. People will wear a mask into a restaurant, but they have to take it off in order to eat or drink, of course. And, if you're the only one in the tent or the trailer or wherever you're operating from, not much point in having a thing over your face, just my opinion. So I agree with what you just said. Okay, Roger, you keyed up as well. Go ahead, sir.
It wasn't me, but I will respond to just make that a little clear. Yeah, as far as the social distancing and the mask, what my wife and I were talking about, John and I could be in the tent. I agree with John. I don't want to be in the tent, having the mask on. My concern is people walking into the tent and, people coming in and out. And John's right. We don't really have that many. but I would like a sign outside the tent. And if you want to come into the tent and talk to John or me or both of us, or just come into the tent, period, that a mask should be worn, especially for people who are just going to come in and say hello, turn around and go back out. That was my wife's and I's contention. So back to you, and I think maybe there was a double, but it wasn't me. This is W8VE.
I think Dennis checked in.
All right, thanks, Ted. Yeah, whoever it was, Dennis, go ahead, sir, if it was you.
Thanks, Ted. This is K8AGB. Dale, you don't see the fine job that Justin is doing for us, and we have two hams that are connected to us and are listening to our conversation. W8AL Herb down in the Peach State of Georgia, and KE8NGZ. He's connected by Facebook. Let's see, his name is Doug, and Herb is watching us on Zoom. And so there's a total of, let's see, on that list that Justin has, I see 17. And I think that looks just like a Canton Amateur Radio Club meeting. This is K8AGB.
Good words, Dennis. Thanks. Nice to hear them. Yep. Hello to both of our listeners on the internet. Whiskey Delta 8, India Papa Echo, Herb, and Kilo Echo 8, November Golf Zulu, Doug. Very good. Of course, you guys, if you're within range of the repeater and you have 2-meter capabilities, you're welcome to check in that way as well. But either way, we're glad to have you on board.
This is W8VE for a question.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead, Roger.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit confused on Zoom. We have I'm on 3 Zoom meetings a week. And how do we get on Zoom at this meeting? Do we go to the website? I will preface that saying the other 2 Zoom meetings, where there's other 3 Zoom meetings, I get an email and they introduce me to Zoom, and then I, just click on the link. How does the Canton Amateur Radio Club do it? Over.
All right, I'm going to step back. I believe Justin handles that in his publicity, but I'll let Justin explain. Go ahead, sir.
Well, Roger, do you get the net reminders from Ham Club Online?
I sure do, and I didn't read it. Maybe that's where that's why I'm not on Zoom right now. I assumed that the Ham Club Online, I just saw it was there, and I said, I know what that is, and I just got off of it. So the reminder and the links on the Ham Club Online with the reminder a couple days ahead of time. Over.
Correct. There should be one 24 hours in advance and another one 12 hours. But all the information you need is in there. W8JKC.
W8JKC, NXAJ. Justin, do those access numbers change every week? I'm sure we've already asked this, but I don't remember what the answer was. Go ahead.
Well, Dale, they don't change for our meetings, and there was somebody that doubled with you almost perfectly your whole transmission there.
Oh, sorry about that. Question was, are the numbers unique, or do they stay the same? That is, could someone just shortcut it, and then they wouldn't have to worry about it from one week to the next?
That's correct. They stay the same week to week. W8JKC.
Sorry for stepping on somebody. Whoever was underneath me, go ahead.
Dale, that was me, and I stepped on you, I guess. There's a little confusion there. Thank you.
Very well. Okay. Well, we've been at it almost an hour. I don't want to close it up or anything. Want to give everyone a chance to say what they got to say. Appreciate a good number of check-ins. This has turned into a good net, and I hope it's been a source of information and entertainment for all of us. So with that said, I'll go around another time. If anyone has a final for the net, go ahead and key up.
CA8MNT.
Tom, go right ahead, please.
Looking back at field day here real quick, it might be a good idea to kind of, I know we talked about the welcome position there at the driveway where Dennis is always there with a lot of information about what we're doing and everything. Maybe we should look at that again and possibly use that as an informational center to let people know, including our own club members, what we expect as far as social distancing and going into a trailer and wearing a mask, even if it's just a stepping in and stepping out, and same thing with tents or whatever. This way, everybody can be informed as to what is to be expected of them. CA8MNT.
That is correct, Tom. There will be the need for a role of a person to remind others what's expected, and less of a role for visitor greetings. A lot of that was in our working notes that went around. There'll probably be another version, the next version of that go out tonight or tomorrow. Again, that's to all club members who are on the club's email list. Okay, any other comments or any other finals for the net tonight? Go ahead.
KFHUN.
You got it, Byron. Let's hear it.
Am I on that list?
Yep, you checked in. You're on. Well, let me think. The email list. I will get you a copy. I believe it goes to the roster of club members. So that's who it goes to. So I'll look around. I'm pretty sure I have your email somewhere. I will send you a copy tonight.
Okay, thank you. Burger Byron at Gmail.
W8VE.
Go ahead, Roger.
I believe the Ham Club Online just goes to all the active members. They're paid up. If Byron needs a form, you can either get on the net or I'll send him one. I think a couple months ago I was supposed to do that. And that's probably why Byron isn't getting any information from the Ham Club Online. This is W8VE.
Very well. Yeah, the intent, as long as it's a working document with a lot of blanks that need to be filled in, there's no point in making that public except to other club members. However, my thought was as we get real close to the actual field day, maybe a week away, hopefully when we've got everything nailed down, we will go ahead and publish, our top secret plans for field day. We'll put them in a place where anyone can look at them. So everyone should know what is expected when they set foot on the grounds. Okay, any other questions or comments or finals for the net?
W8AL, late check-in, no comment.
Hello, good evening, Dave. Thanks for checking in, and position noted.
HQ.
Alrighty, Perry, go right ahead.
Just more towards Denny. He was commenting about, I guess somebody who's got some takeout up there at Menchie Brothers there, and about Nancy was saying that ready for us. I was wondering, is that was Denny making some kind of a statement there that maybe we're going to start heading back that way in the near future? I was sent out N8VHQ.
All right, well, thanks for that, adding that little bit there, Perry. Another call, any finals for the net before we sign off?
N8PW.
Go right ahead, sir.
Well, Dale, I hope Doc is still listening because he is retired from Stark RTA. But I got the great idea. It might be good for the club to enter field day as a mobile contestant. You could rent a bus from the Stark RTA and not have to worry about social distancing or wearing masks because the riders don't and haven't for several months. That might be something to consider. And secondly, you might want to consider dressing up as protesters. Because if you're a protester, you don't have to wear a mask or observe social distancing either. But those are just two interesting thoughts of mine as I end the evening. This is N8PW. I'm Claire.
You are clearly funny, sir. Thanks for the little bit of humor. I'll take those words with a grain of salt, but I'll take them however I can get them. So, okay, any other comments or a final for the net before we sign?
K8MNT. I'll second Bill's motion there if anybody wants to go on and vote for it.
Very good. All right, Tom. Right. There was a few seconds of a double within your transmission, Tom. Whoever else it was besides Tom, try again.
Yes, Roger, W8DE. Herb, if you're listening, that'd be Herb down in WD8IPE. And Herb, if you're still on, and I talked to you earlier today on Zoom, you sent me a email that was supposed to have an attachment of a field day, and it didn't come through. I checked my iPhone and my computer, and the field day attachment didn't open for me. Just letting you know that. I was kind of interested to see if maybe it was one of the field days from the past. So that message is for Herb. This is W8VE.
KFHUM.
Thank you, Roger. And I heard Byron go in there. So go ahead, Byron.
For local contacts, you could pull the bell cord on the bus in Morse code.
Well, that's interesting. Yes. I don't know. Is there a class for field day mobile?
Yes, there is an 8PW.
The comments or finals for the net before we sign off.
Dennis here, K8AGB.
Okay, Dennis, heard yours clearly, and there was about 3 seconds of somebody doubling at the beginning. So, Dennis, you're first.
This is K8AGB. Perry, Nancy is waiting with her order pad handy to see our smiling faces back. I guess it's going to be on the individual who feels comfortable to show up the second Saturday of June, and Nancy will seat us according to rules and regulations. So, but I've been there. I've done carry-out service there. Harold and Alice have been there in 8, and they were able to see Nancy. So my comment is when I feel comfortable without a mask and sitting with you folks, I'll be there. Over.
All right. Thanks for the comments, Dennis. And the person that also keyed up about a minute ago, go ahead, please.
W8JKC. A couple of things here. Roger, Herb checked out probably 15 minutes ago now, right before Dennis keyed up and gave his call sign for him. As far as the breakfast on the 13th, I think that's a great idea. We'll leave it up to the individual person if they want to show up or not, now that we're allowed to dine in at restaurants. Break. Dale, last week we asked about the EOC for our meeting this month, and if not the meeting, the equipment. Have you talked to Tim at all? W8JKC.
No, I've not. I apologize. That was the intent, was to actually go down there and get working on another project in that building. So didn't happen. Things shifted here in town starting on the weekend, and been sort of preoccupied. Over.
All right, Dale. Sounds good.
We were just about ready to return the repeater to normal use, whatever normal is. So last call for any finals for the net before we sign off. Okay, nothing heard. That'll be the end of the informal informal Wednesday night Canton Amateur Radio Club net, which is, as always, open to anybody who can hear the repeater on their radio or find it on their computer. So thank you all for checking in. We'll be back here 1 week from tonight, 7:30 on Wednesday. I'll be monitoring for a while if anyone has any other traffic. So 73 to you all from NXHJ.